Hi everybody, it's Jody and it's time for another review. Today we're going to be reviewing the Enya Smart Ukulele. So let's get a good look at it. This instrument was sent to me for free from Enya in exchange for my honest review. So that's what you're going to be getting. Let's take a look. All right, so this instrument is a concert scale, and as far as I know, currently that's the only scale that they are making the Smart Enya ukuleles in, and I think it's a pretty good choice. It's a good size for beginners because it's not too small, not too big. This one is an HPL ukulele, which stands for high pressure laminate. And high pressure laminate is a very durable material. It's not wood, but it's a very durable material that's not susceptible to changes in temperature and humidity, which again makes it a very beginner friendly instrument and is one that you could take with you, and it will do well in most environments. One thing to note though, that this HPL material, it's a little bit heavy. I weighed it, the whole instrument is 24 ounces, and my other laminate concert ukulele is 19.5 ounces, so it's quite a bit heavier than some of my other laminates. But we'll get into sound and see if that affects the sound in just a minute. There's not a whole lot of specs listed on Amazon for this instrument because the focus is on the smart capabilities, which we'll get into at the second half of this review. But I suspect it's very similar to their other HPL models, their X1 model. And you can find lots of reviews for their X1 models on YouTube, and they generally get very favorable reviews. But I don't know if they share all the same specs with the X1 models because these specs aren't listed. For instance, I don't know what the neck is made out of, although I assume mahogany. Also, the headstock is not slotted headstock like the X1 series, but I do quite like the headstock here. I like that just that little flare right here. It's a nice little design, and I like that black veneer on the top. This one has closed or open geared tuners, which are working very well. They're very smooth, and I really like the little buttons on the tuners. They're quite striking. So there we have it. It also, I don't know what the nut and saddle are made out of, but on the X1 series, they're made out of ox bone. The fretboard is special. It's got LED lights under all 4 strings on every fret. Right now it's just lit up to show the fret markers, where fret markers would be, but there's also side fret markers. And the bridge, I don't know, in the X1 series it's made out of rosewood, and this appears to be maybe a form of rosewood also. And that's pretty much all the specs. One other big difference is it does not have a radius fretboard like their X1 series. A radius fretboard is a little bit curved, just like your fingers, so it makes it very easy to play. But this one is flat, which isn't a big deal. Most ukuleles don't have a radius fretboard. That's actually usually more of an upgraded feature. This one comes with strap buttons, and one thing to note is the strap button up here is in the middle, which means you'll be able to use it as a lefty. And the accompanying app also has a feature where you can switch to left-handed, so that's pretty nice that Enya thought of that and they made it versatile. So that's pretty much the specs for this ukulele. Oh, it comes with carbon fiber strings, Enya's own carbon fiber strings, which are decent. I prefer them over the keyless strings, but I prefer some other carbon fiber strings over these. But I think overall, so I kind of like the Enya strings. So that's pretty much the specs of this instrument. Let's talk about playability. This one's set up pretty nice. It's got a pretty nice low action, which makes it easy to play. And It's got the strap buttons, which help out a lot, because my only gripe would be that it's a little bit heavier than usual. But if you've got the strap button, or if you're sitting down and you've got it rested on your lap, it's not an issue, it's not a problem. So yeah, the playability is pretty good. It's got smooth fret edges and low action, and also the intonation is spot on, which I appreciate very much. So let's take a listen to the sound. We'll do a little bit of finger picking, a little bit of strumming, so you can hear what it sounds like. Here's some finger picking. Let's listen to it up the neck a little. Playing this ukulele, I think I unboxed it about 2 weeks ago, and I've been really enjoying the sound of this. In their listing, they boast that it has a nice balanced sound, and I would agree with that. It doesn't have a whole lot of sustain, so for finger picking, you notice it, not a whole lot of sustain, and not super loud either. But neither of those things really bother me. I wouldn't say that it's to a fault. It's just not super loud, not a whole lot of sustain. But it's pretty resonant. It's got a nice balanced tone. It's pretty warm. It's fun to play. I enjoy the sound of this. For being HPL and not made out of wood at all, at least not this part, it's really impressive, the sound they're able to get. I think it might be even a little bit more clear with some different fluorocarbon strings, and maybe even a little bit more resonant. Maybe I'll do a sound sample. I haven't done a string comparison in a while. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the ukulele, just the instrument. I think it's pretty nice. I think it looks nice. I think it plays well. I think it sounds good. So, but there's more to this ukulele than just the way it looks and the way it sounds and the way it feels. This one is a smart ukulele, which is pretty darn cool. That means you can charge it. You can see right here. See right there? That's where you plug it in, and you can charge this ukulele. And once it's charged, turn it on. You've got these lights that pop on, and it has Bluetooth capability, and it can communicate with the app. And the app that you download is called OKMusician, and I've been playing with that for quite a while, and I'm gonna do my best to explain it, give you some screenshots, give you an idea of what this smart ukulele is capable of. Okay, so when you first open the app, there's 3 sections, and those are Learn, Songs, and Tools. So let's just go down in order. Learn, you click on that, you will see there is Beginner category, and there's 12 lessons. And those lessons include, lesson 1 is get to know your ukulele. Lesson 2 is how to tune your ukulele. Lesson 3 is playing simple melodies. Lesson 4 is chords. C, F, and A minor. Lesson 5, basic strumming and the G chord. Lesson 6, combining down strums and up strums. Lesson 7, beginning finger style using 2 fingers. Then in lesson 8, we learn 2 more chords, E minor and D minor. In lesson 9, 10, and 11 are 3 advanced strumming patterns. And then lesson 12 is kind of your final mission of the ukulele journey. All right, so I went through all of these lessons just to kind of see how easy they were to follow, and I'll give you my honest opinion on these. Each lesson is about 5 minutes or so, very concise and pretty easy to follow. There's somebody holding the ukulele, and you can basically see them from, I'll insert a picture to show you what that looks like. And they go over the concept, they do it nice and slow, and they repeat themselves over and over so you can do it along with them. Then there's an exercise, and they'll play the exercise first, and then you get to do the exercise. Now the fun thing about this app is they give you a lot of feedback. So after you complete the exercise, you get scored 1 through 5 stars, and you have to get at least 4 stars to move on to the next lesson. One of my critiques is I wish there were more exercises in between the lessons. So for instance, after you learn the C, F, and A minor chords, there is a song that you play as the exercise, and then you move on. That there was an opportunity there to have like multiple songs, you know, so you could really hone in on those chords and really get a lot of practice on those chords and switching between those chords without getting bored, because you could try different songs before and then move on to the next lesson. So I do wish there were more exercises in between lessons. Also, I found it interesting. I don't know that it's wrong, but I found it very interesting that they taught playing melody before playing chords. So they teach you how to read tablature and how to play a simple melody following the tablature first. That's in lesson 3, right after you learn about the ukulele and how to tune. And then lesson 4 is where you learn chords. So I found that kind of interesting. That's not how I teach, and it seemed a little strange, but it does work, and it does kind of, I think it's helpful to know how to read tablature right off in the beginning. When you learn a chord, there's also chord practice, and when you're playing the chord, it will show you which string is wrong. For instance, if you're playing a G chord and one of the strings is, you know, not pressed all the way, it'll show you that that string is not correct. So that's kind of helpful to get that kind of level of feedback while you're playing. Another little criticism I found this to be very counterintuitive, is they show you arrows for strumming, and literally because they're putting it on top of tablature, and tablature's kind of backwards, where the top line represents the string on the ukulele, and so for a down strum, they are showing it as an up arrow because they're showing it across the strings. So I found that it took me a minute to get used to it. It's not so bad if you're following the lessons in order and then you try songs. But when I first opened the app, I was trying to play the songs, and the arrows were backwards in my brain, because down strums are represented as an up arrow on the tablature, and up strums are represented as a down arrow. So I found that to be, it took me a little bit to get used to, and that's not how, again, when I teach it, when I write out strum patterns for my students, I do down strums pointing down. So that was a little odd and took a little bit of getting used to. They teach with strumming, they teach what I call the invisible pick method, which is using basically the back of your nail, either your pointer finger or your thumb, depending on which direction you're going. That is the method I use mostly when I'm when I'm strumming. However, that's not the only method. I know people who use only their thumb or only their pointer finger, and I think it would have been nice to address other ways to strum as well. But they just teach you that one. But I do find that to be a very versatile way of strumming, and I personally prefer that way. I found the lessons overall to be a great start. I did think it took it in nice slow steps. They give you little exercises in between, and they teach you the basics. Now here's the thing, at the end of the 12 lessons of the beginner series, they say, yay, you're ready to move on to intermediate lessons, and there are none. And so I emailed Enya and I asked about that, and they said they're coming. So this is, you know, a relatively new model for them, and it's a new concept, so it's still kind of being developed. And they said that it's coming, and hopefully maybe even advanced lessons. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, there's only the beginner lessons on the OKMusician app. Also, it's a little bit confusing because it only shows like the first 2 or 3 lessons are accessible, and then they say that you have to have the premium membership, which is $50 a year, to access the rest of them. However, once I filled out my profile, somehow those lessons became accessible to me, and I checked my account. I wasn't charged for anything. I asked Enya about that as well, and they said that you just need to email them once you've purchased the ukulele, and then they make your account accessible to the whole thing. It's a little confusing to me because it doesn't say anywhere in the listing on Amazon that you have to do that. So that part's a little bit I don't quite understand, and I don't think it would be worth $50, especially if you only have the beginner lessons that you can access. You can also buy, pay per month, and it's I think $15 a month or $10 a month. I think it's $10 a month. I'll put that up here. So there's a little bit of confusion with that. All right, moving on. So that's the first section, right? That's the learn section. The next section, let's skip over the next section for now, and we'll talk about the tools section. So in the tools, you have tuner, metronome, chord library, and reverse chord library. It's pretty cool. Tuner, you get a screen that looks like this. You start plucking your string, and if it's in tune, you'll get this little ding and a green check mark. And if it's too low or too high, they indicate, and then you tune it. So it's like your typical tuner, either if you use an app tuner or a clip-on tuner. It works the same way, except for it gives you a nice little reward if you're right on tune. Then there's metronome, and you put in the time signature and the tempo, and then you hear something like this. So that's pretty straightforward. And then there's the chord library, which I really like. And that is pretty cool. You start by selecting the chord name, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, all the way up to B. And then you pick the chord type, major, minor, augmented, diminished, sus2, sus4, minor 6, 7, major 7. Then they give you not just one, but many, many different ways to play that chord. And you can. They also give you a little picture of a hand fingering that chord to show you how to do it. So I found that pretty cool. And then there's chord practice. You can practice playing those chords. So that's very helpful. And then there's reverse chord finder. So that's if you want to know what this chord is, they'll tell you. That's a C sharp minor flat 5. So that's pretty cool, pretty nice high-tech tool. Lastly, we have songs, and this is where the real fun begins, especially for me, because I'm not approaching this as a beginner, so I didn't really need the lessons, but the songs are pretty fun. You will see there's different categories of songs. There's pop, rock, folk, punk, country, and then they have basics and solo, which we'll get into in a minute. Now, full disclosure, there's way more pop and rock than there are any of the other categories. Some of the other categories, there's only like there were only 3 folk songs, 5 punk, 6 country. I did ask them, they said that they will be adding new songs on a regular basis. I believe they said monthly basis, but they said they've had a little hiccup with this COVID-19 situation. But there's already quite a few songs already on here, and somewhat modern songs and some like really classic songs. So we have Enya, we have Beatles, we have Bob Dylan, we have Jason Mraz, we have the Chainsmokers, Charlie Puth, Aerosmith, Alice Merton, Richie Valens, Green Day, Phil Collins, Pat Benatar, Amy Winehouse, Smashing Pumpkins. So a pretty nice, Creedence Clearwater, a pretty Jack Johnson, pretty nice selection. I enjoyed them. Then you can also see in the corner they rank them from easy. As far as I can tell, one guitar pick is easy, 2 would be like medium, and as far as I can tell, 3 is the highest. And again, way more of the 1 level than the harder ones. So you can click on a song, and there's different options on how you want to view this song. And I'm just going to go right out and say I highly recommend the Uke tabs option. The other ones are just kind of strange and hard to follow. And Uke tabs is a good thing to know how to do. So you're still building skills and you'll be able to read other tabs that aren't in an app. So I highly recommend you use the Uke tabs version. And then you hit play. Let's see if you can see this. I'm getting a bunch of red marks because I'm not hitting those chords where I should be. So basically they provide the background music, and this one is all down strums. Now see how the arrows are pointing up? Those are down strums because it's written on tab. So that's an example of an easy one because it's just using down strums, but there's a variety. And there's some that get more difficult. There's some that have tablature where you're playing the melody. Again, not as many, but there's quite a bit. Let's see. Sometimes the lyrics don't line up perfectly. And I did find at least one song that the background music was in a different key. It was a half a step down from the written music, so that was a little distracting. They give you, on some of the songs, distributed practice. So they give you little exercises to practice the chords before you get into the song and play the song. I thought that was a great technique, but I wish they would also have a little exercise where you practice the strum pattern before you move on to the actual song. And currently they don't seem to have that. If you are on the Uke tab version of the song, you can pick practice mode or perform. And if you're in practice mode, you can change the tempo, you can add a metronome, and you can remove the background music if you'd like. I found all of those very helpful. Another thing is this LED light. This board lights up as the song's going. Okay, so this is how the LED board lights work. So right here, in the song where I have it paused, I was playing an F chord. And then the next chord is the E minor chord. And it shows you the E minor chord where you're going to be putting your fingers next. So I'll just show you a little bit. This is a nice slow song. You can see. So we're moving to E minor. You play E minor. D minor is next. Once you play D minor, then C is next. So they kind of give you a little cue before you switch. Personally, I didn't use that feature a whole lot in a lot of the songs, but I did in some of the trickier songs. Some of the trickier songs with less common chords. It is kind of helpful to just have this quick little target to reach on this fretboard. So that's where the LED lights come into play. When you finish the song, they give you a score and a rating, and they even have, a leaderboard. Kind of made me feel like I was playing Guitar Hero or some kind of video game, because you have to get the timing right to get all the points. So you really are practicing different strum patterns in rhythm with the songs while you're practicing switching chords, and then you get feedback afterwards as far as how well you did and how well you did compared to how well other people did. So that, I think, for some people is going to be a lot of motivation. It just kind of is going to make practicing very fun and rewarding, because you're going to be playing songs that you like, you're going to be getting feedback on how well you did, and you're going to be getting prompts on your ukulele on how to play it and where to put your fingers and help. So it's a really interesting, cool app that I think is going to be great for beginners, and especially beginners who really like technical stuff. I think it's going to be perfect for my son who likes video games, honestly. So I can't wait to get his opinion on it after he's had some time to play with it. Okay, so that's about all I have to say about the app. It's very intricate. It looks like they're still working on it, and they're going to continue to develop it. At least I hope. I hope that they continue to add songs, and I hope they add intermediate lessons. But I think so far they're off to a great start, and I think it's a great app and smart ukulele for beginners especially, but even intermediate players, I think, are going to enjoy being able to play along with songs that are already in the app as well. So let's talk value. Let's talk about what you get with this ukulele. Okay, so this is the case that it comes with. It looks kind of a little boring on the outside until you unzip the pockets and you see, oh, it's got this beautiful blue color on the inside, and it's super padded as well. It has this, look how big this pocket is. It is the size of the case. I really appreciate that. You're gonna be able to fit a lot in here. You could even fit like a ukulele stand, a collapsible ukulele stand, I believe you would be able to fit in here. Definitely your phone, your wallet, your keys. I mean, a lot of things can fit in here. However, I was not able to fit a full-size iPad in here. Almost, but not quite. You definitely would be able to fit a mini iPad in there. On the outside, we've got this hook. You can hang it on the wall, which I really like. And we've got this strap. Now, you know what I'm gonna say. I love backpack straps that has two. But this one doesn't bother me so much because you get to decide which side you put it on, and you still put it across your body like this. And so I think it's gonna be comfortable and not like slide around. A lot of the ones that just have one strap goes right down the middle, and you have to just kind of hold it on one side like that. So I do, and this is very padded, and it's even got this wicking material. So I do really like that case. That strap. I wish it had a handle here, and it does not. You have to wear it that way when you carry it. Opening it up, it slides down like this, and we've got two more pockets. Now here, let's see if we can fit. Okay, so you can fit a full-size iPad in the inside pocket, which is nice. And then the ukulele slides in there. And we also have a pocket right here, where again, you could put phone or wallet or something like that in there. And zip it up. And it's very nice and padded. So I quite like the case. It comes with accessories as well. It does not come with a tuner because the tuner is in the app, but we've got the cord for plugging it in, and it's this L shape, which makes it nice and convenient. So when you plug it in, you don't have to contort yourself to get it in there. That's what you use for charging. It comes with a nice durable strap. It comes with a quick start guide. Let's see if they tell you in here. They do give you the email address in here, but it doesn't say you have to email them to access the premium membership. But that's what I would do if you got this one, because that's what they told me. It comes with microfiber cloth. Comes with a finger shaker. Gives you some percussion while you're playing. Comes with a capo. Comes with extra Enya fluorocarbon strings. Comes with some picks. So it comes with all those things. Comes with the app that you can download for free. And it's $125 or $115, depending on what pattern is printed on your HPL. I think that's a pretty good value, especially for the app, especially if you are able to access all 12 lessons and all the songs. I think it's a pretty good value. It's a nice instrument. I enjoy, like I said, I've been playing it since I got it, and I really enjoy playing it. I think it's got a nice sound. I love how durable it is, and I think it's great for a beginner. I think it's great. It's coming out in a wonderful time when people don't have as easy access to an actual ukulele teacher. They can stay home. They can learn on their own, learn with the app, and I think they could get pretty far with it. I love how the app gives you feedback. It kind of is motivating, and it kind of makes you want to keep going. It kind of gets you to practice longer than maybe you would just on your own. So I love the concept. I really like the instrument, and the app is pretty promising as well. So I would definitely recommend this, and I think $125 is a fair price that they're asking. I don't understand why the mahogany pattern is cheaper. They should be the same price, in my opinion. So that's it for me for now. Please put your comments below. Let me know what you think of this concept, and if you have questions, and stay tuned. We'll be coming back with an update from my son after he's had ample time to play around with the app on his own. And I'm not going to give him instructions. I'm just going to give it to him. Download it on his iPad and just let him go run with it. And we'll see how well and how user-friendly it was for him. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to play your uke today and have fun doing it. Bye.